I'm Maxon from Talks Movies, and I am here talking all things box office here on Max Talks Box Office. Today on Max Talks Box Office, I'll be talking about this past weekend's box office domestically, which is June 6th to June 8th, 2025. We're also going to look at the domestic and worldwide numbers so far this year and preview the movies that are coming out in theaters this upcoming weekend, which will be from June 13th until June 15th. So my name is Max Rook. Welcome back to Max Talks Movies. If you're new to the channel, guys, please hit that subscribe button and ring that bell for notifications. I do movie and TV show reviews daily, as well as movie franchise rankings, out of theater reactions, and this show every single Monday to start your week. So please consider subscribing and ringing the bell if you like any one of those things. Also, please comment down below. What are your thoughts on the box office, the state of the box office? Are you a fan of the what has been surprising you, what has not been surprising you? Let me know down in the comments. And also, guys, please hit that thumbs up button. One of the best ways to support YouTube creators is hitting that thumbs up button so you can help support people's channel. So without further ado, let's get into this past weekend's box office, which I said was June 6th to June 8th, 2025. And still in first place in its third weekend of release is Disney's Lilo and Stitch. Only dropped 47% and grossed 32.5 million this past weekend domestically. And domestic is Canada and the United States. And it's up to 335 domestic in its 3 weekends in theaters. This is going very, very well for Disney. The budget is only around $100 million for Lilo and Stitch, so it already broke even just off its domestic gross alone. Now, the movie is hovering at the moment around closing in on $800 million worldwide. And we all thought that this would be an easy slam dunk guarantee that Lilo and Stitch will join the $1 billion club. Now, with it being around $230 million more away, it does seem, again, 3 weekends in, that it should be a slam dunk that this movie does get to $1 billion, but a major family film in How to Train Your Dragon is coming out this weekend. So will How to Train Your Dragon, the question for Lilo and Stitch moving forward is if How to Train Your Dragon will leave such a major dent in the box office that it will not allow Lilo and Stitch to get to $1 billion. I would say a week or two ago, it was an easy thing that this movie would get to $1 billion. I think if How to Train Your Dragon is a massive, massive hit for Universal, that will hurt Lilo and Stitch. If How to Train Your Dragon disappoints or any level, I think that will only help Lilo and Stitch get to $1 billion. So we will see next weekend's drop for Lilo and Stitch, both worldwide and domestic. Will be fascinating to cover next week here on the show. In second place this past weekend is the big new release that came out, which was Ballerina, the John Wick spinoff from Lionsgate, only opening, sadly, to $25 million. This is the second lowest opening weekend for the John Wick franchise. Only the first John Wick, which again, was an action franchise that came out of nowhere. The first movie grossed $14 million on its opening weekend. But Ballerina, coming off of successful John Wick films, could not open very big. And from a box office perspective, that's not really good for Lionsgate because this is one of their top echelon franchises. So that is, again, not shocking. This movie also is the second most expensive film in the franchise with a $90 million budget. So to go through it, John Wick, the first one grossed $14 million in its opening weekend, only made 87 worldwide, but again, it became a massive franchise. This comes in second worst of $25 million. John Wick 2 opened to $30 million. John Wick 3 opened to $56 million. And the newest one, the one before this, in 2023, John Wick Chapter 4 opened to $73 million. And that film finished around $450 million worldwide. Now, and also John Wick, 2 of those movies grossed over $100 million domestically, with one of them even getting to $92 million. So $25 million is a big step back for the John Wick franchise. And they have now really struggled. Even though this movie is doing very well critically and with audience scores, it does seem like people, if they want to see a John Wick movie, it looks like they want to see John Wick in the movie. And that's why Lionsgate seems desperate to make John Wick 5 after what happened towards the end of John Wick 4. Really they're gonna have to really pay up for Keanu to want to come back. He seemed like he was pretty much done being the lead of a movie like this for the foreseeable future. But Lionsgate had a huge flop with their spin-off TV show on Peacock, both from an audience and critic reception and to a viewership perspective. And Ballerina opening very low is also not a good sign. It's also not a good sign for Ana de Armas, who has been definitely working over the last decade, but she is trying to become an action star, and this is not going to help her case in becoming a lead actor in a big action movie anytime soon, at least on the big screen, because this is a very disappointing opening for Ballerina. Again, only a $90 million budget. That's before advertising. So it needs to hit around like 230, I would say, 240 to break even based on their reported numbers. But this movie had a lot of issues, including a lot of reshoots to nearly half the movie from Chad Stahelski, who directed the first 4 John Wick movies. So very underwhelming for Lionsgate as they're trying to make this a big cinematic universe. Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning from Paramount is in third place in its third weekend, dropping 45%, $15 million, $149 domestic. Again, this movie had an impossible task of having to somehow break even with a $400 million budget before advertising. Nearly impossible. It is impossible. And this movie, not just was everyone embarrassed by the last movie, Dead Reckoning's performance, even though it had a less budget than this movie, Dead Reckoning is going to do better at the box office than Final Reckoning. So this is really going to be, from a money-making perspective for the franchise, a big bomb and a massive flop for Paramount. Karate Kid Legends is at number 4. It dropped a massive 57%, $8.7 million. 35.4. It does not look like the Karate Kid franchise is ready to come back in full force back in theaters. They tried the nostalgia route, and it seems like people are either not interested. Whatever it is, Karate Kid is a franchise for Sony that they need to probably keep on ice for years to come. And wrapping up the top 5 from Warner Brothers is Final Destination Bloodlines in its 4th weekend, dropping 41%, $6.4 million, $123 domestic. This is a huge moneymaker for Warner Brothers. Expect more Final Destination movies very, very soon. Looking at the overall domestic box office for this year, Minecraft is at number 1 with $423 million. Lilo and Stitch is at number 2 with $335 million. So it is falling behind Minecraft. And again, Minecraft did not get to $1 billion. Sinners is at number 3 with $272.6. Captain America Brave New World at 4 of $200 million. Thunderbolts is at 5 of 186. Very underwhelming for Marvel that Thunderbolts can't even get to $200 million domestically. Mission Impossible Final Reckoning is at 6 with 149. Final Destination Bloodlines at 7 with 123. Dogman at 8 with 97. Disney Snow White is at 9 with 87. And The Accountant 2 is at 10 of 65 million domestic. Now let's look at the worldwide numbers. That's when we combine the international and the domestic box office together. A Chinese film is at number 1. Minecraft is number 2 with 946 million worldwide. Lilo and Stitch currently sitting at 772 million worldwide. We will see if it can at least even pass Minecraft. A Chinese film is at 4. Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning is at 5 with $450 million worldwide. Again, with a $400 million budget, that is just not going to cut it. Captain America: Brave New World is at 6 with $413 million. Thunderbolts at 7 with $374 million. Sinners is at 8 with $357 million. Final Destination Bloodlines at 9 of 257, and Disney Snow White wrapping up the top 10 with $200 million domestically. So we are keeping the summer box office train moving here in the month of June. A couple big movies are hitting theaters this weekend. As the biggest one is How to Train Your Dragon from Universal and DreamWorks, the live action adaptation of the How to Train Your Dragon first movie, which can't believe it came out in 2010, 15 years ago, but it is getting its live action treatment. And we will see. How to Train Your Dragon was a big, big franchise for Universal and DreamWorks. We will see if its live action also can continue its momentum. On a smaller note, the A24 has a romantic movie that's hitting theaters this weekend starring Dakota Johnson, Chris Evans, and Pedro Pascal, which is called Materialist, getting some very strong reviews. And obviously, Pedro Pascal, trying to get some momentum, was already in Last of Us. He is in Materialist coming out this weekend. He's got Fantastic Four next month, Eatington later this year. Busy summer for Pedro Pascal, but he will try to have some star power to Materialist and see if A24 can get a hit coming up. So that is what's coming up this weekend. What are you guys going to see in theaters this weekend? What did you guys see last weekend? Let me know your thoughts on the box office by commenting, subscribing, liking the video. I'll see you guys with new videos very, very soon.